Have you ever told yourself that I'll start working out when I feel motivated? Or I'll film that YouTube video when the lighting is just right and I feel like I'm in the mood? Or I'll write that book when inspiration strikes? Here's the hard truth. Motivation is completely overrated. It's fickle. It comes and goes like the weather, and if you keep waiting for it, your goals will always be out of reach. But there is a better way, and it's not about pushing yourself harder, it's about building systems that make progress automatic, even on the hard days when motivation is hiding in the corner, nowhere to be found. So today, I will show you how to stop waiting for motivation and instead to focus on building systems that actually stick. And it's simple and realistic, and I'm going to share with you 3 actionable steps that you can use to start working on this today. But first, let's talk about why motivation fails us. When I was in my 20s, I used to wait for that magical spark of motivation to finally be able to get my life together. I would buy new planners, watch a ton of motivational videos, and set big, ambitious goals. And that would last for about a week. And I would really try to be consistent, but life got in the way. Life always got in the way. Turns out, science has an explanation for why this is. Psychologist B.J. Fogg, the author of a very, very powerful book called Tiny Habits, explains this as we don't rise to the level of our goals, but we fail to the level of our systems. And research from the Journal of Behavioral Science also shows that motivation peaks when we set a goal, but then it drops off over time. That is why New Year's resolutions almost always fail. You see, motivation is a temporary emotion. Systems are what carry you through when the emotion fades. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't wake up every morning saying, yes, I can't wait to brush my teeth today. No, you do it because it's automatic and because it's a system and it's become a part of your routine. Think about why you don't need motivation to make your morning cup of coffee, and you don't rely on motivation to lock your door before you leave your house. These are built into who you are, and they've become a part of your daily routine. The same principle applies to fitness, learning, saving money, or even building your career. Motivation is unreliable. Systems are dependable. And systems don't just mean routines, they mean building an environment where the default choice is the right choice for you. A few years ago, I wanted to work out 3 to 4 times a week. I told myself I will go to the gym when I feel ready. But of course, most days I just didn't feel ready. I had a meeting that popped up, or it was too cold outside, it was raining outside, and I just didn't feel like going. Then I changed my approach. Instead of waiting for motivation, I instead built a system. I joined an online Pilates program so that nothing, weather, COVID, car troubles, literally nothing could get in the way. I laid out my clothes the night before. I set a 10-minute minimum rule so that even on the days when I was tired, I just had to squeeze in 10 minutes. This system worked wonderfully, and it's one that I follow still today. What started as 10 minutes often turned into 20, 30, and 40 minutes, and within months, it became a part of my identity. And it wasn't because of motivation, it was because of systems. So here are 3 practical and reliable steps that I use to build better systems. Step 1, anchor habits to trigger moments. I realized something powerful in my 40s. My habits didn't fail because I was lazy. They failed because they weren't anchored to my real life. I tell myself I will journal every morning, but mornings are complete chaos in my house with kids running around, emails piling up, and having to get ready for school and work. You see, that system was doomed from the start. So instead, I started attaching new habits to things that I was already doing. After brushing my teeth, I would take 3 minutes to do breathing exercises. After my cup of coffee in the morning, I would write down 1 sentence in my journal. After waking up my kids, I would write down the 3 tasks that I needed to get done that day. Those were my trigger moments. Behavioral scientist B.J. Fogg, author of Tiny Habits, calls this method anchoring. His research shows that habits are more likely to succeed if they're tied to an existing routine, rather than just trying to wedge them into an empty space in your day. For me, the transformation was immediate. Journaling went from something that I never had time for to something that I couldn't forget because it was literally chained to me brushing my teeth. So here's the practical takeaway. Don't just add habits in the air. Try to attach them to something that you're already doing. For example, your morning coffee could be tied to journaling. Brushing your teeth could be tied to meditation. And your morning commute could be tied to a gratitude list. Step 2, create friction for your bad habits. Everyone says make good habits easier, but here's the flip side. What about making bad habits harder? When I realized I was doom scrolling at night, I created a routine called the bedtime book swap. Now I keep my phone in the living room and let it charge overnight, and instead I keep a book at my nightstand at all times. You see, the friction of walking to my phone made reading the easy choice, and a choice that I absolutely love. Behavioral economics calls this a commitment device where the cost of a bad habit is higher than the cost of a good one. I started scheduling workout sessions with a good friend. We text each other in the morning and we plan out our day, including which workouts we'll be doing. Now, skipping means texting them an excuse and missing out on social time together. That social friction for me is much heavier than just showing up. So you see, motivation didn't stop me from scrolling or from skipping a workout, but friction did. Step 3, tie habits to meaning, not just mechanics. Here's something I wish I had learned a long time ago. Systems aren't just about what you do, but they're about why you do it. For me, exercise stopped being a checkbox on my to-do list when I tied it to my deeper why. Why do I want to exercise? Because I want to be the type of parent that still has energy to play with my kids at the end of a long workday. Adding this why meant skipping a workout wasn't just about fitness, it was about being present for the people that I love. Psychologists call this intrinsic motivation, where the habit is tied to personal meaning rather than external reward. A 2014 study in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that habits that are tied to identity and values are far more likely to succeed than habits that are tied to outcomes. So don't just say, I want to wake up earlier. What's the deeper reason? What does it unlock for you? Maybe it's personal time. Maybe it's some peace and quiet before everybody else wakes up. Maybe it's time to work on your personal goals. That reason then becomes the fuel when motivation runs dry. I'm going to tell you guys a story. A year into my YouTube journey, I almost quit. I was uploading shorts every week, but the growth was painfully slow. So one night when I was feeling exhausted, I sat at my desk and I asked myself, why am I even doing this? That's when I pulled out my journal and I wrote down, what systems do I have in place? What's sustainable in the long run? And I realized my mistake. I was chasing views and subscribers instead of building a process and a system that actually worked. So instead, I built a system. I filmed one long video every Wednesday morning, no excuses. I started writing my scripts in 2 25-minute sprints. I uploaded the same time every week, no matter how small the video was. I then cut that long video into 2 to 3 different shorts. And you know what? That system carried me. And months later, I can finally say that I'm so proud to see the growth, the engagement, and the wonderful community that I've built. You see, if I had relied on motivation alone that night, I would have quit. But my system didn't care about feelings or emotions. It only required that I keep going and that I show up. And here's the twist that I want to leave you with. Systems aren't just about productivity. They are about self-respect. Because every time you keep a system, you're telling yourself, I can trust myself. And when you start trusting yourself, you stop looking for outside motivation, validation, or approval. So don't just see systems as routines, see them as a contract with yourself. It's your way of saying, I matter enough to build a life that works for me, even on the worst days. Motivation shows up when it feels like it, but systems are there for you every single day, quietly shaping who you become. And that is the real foundation of discipline. And speaking of discipline, if you're ready to take this one step further, then watch my video on 8 easy ways to become self-disciplined. In it, I share science-backed strategies that you can layer on top of your systems to make discipline second nature, even on the hard days. So go check it out, because systems plus discipline, that's an unstoppable combination. See you in the next one.